Okay, how many blue do we have? Okay, excellent, blue people. Okay, hey, if you are a woman, you already have a blue personality within you, even if you're red. Yeah. But if you are a woman and you're blue, that makes you really, really blue. And I'm going to tell you what that really means. It's not all that negative to begin with. Don't feel insecure, okay? Don't go out to the bathroom, okay? Don't take that break. You need to hear this. If you are man, you already have a little bit of redness within you. Society tells you that you gotta be red and all that, right? I mean, if you're a man, you got that leadership that God has given you. But if you are a man and you're blue, that makes you a very, very romantic man. So how many romantic men do we have? Yeah. You know, thank God that these people believe in Jesus. If they don't, you know what happened. And I love working with blue people because if there is no blue people in this world will continue to be so empty and meaningless. Life is empty to begin with. But these people make sure that life gets meaningful. Amen. You know what I'm saying? Because they always search for meaning. They are driven by the desire for intimacy. So they better be intimate with their spouse. Because then if not, then it can become a source for temptation. You got to be intimate with your spouse. And you got to find meaning in your life. And these blue people are sometimes hard to live with.
You were doing so good.
I know. I didn't mean to tell you this early on. I know he's not ready to hear that, but I will come back. I'll balance it. Because these, blue people sometimes challenge you. Challenge with the things that you don't even realize.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Because red person and white person and yellow person who's married to blue thinks that everything's going fine. Bank account has enough money. Kids are doing well. But then blue spouse comes to you and said, honey, we cannot live this way. And he or she goes, if you continue to live this way, within 10 years or 20 years, there will be crisis in our family. Kids will get into drugs and there is a spiritual crisis that we are preparing ourselves for unless we do things different. And to that, red person will just go crazy. They're like, make it concrete. I don't know what you're saying. Are you out of your mind, right? And then white people, they don't say anything. They're like, they don't say anything like, I don't know what you're saying. And then yellow person is like, I don't get it. It's not fun. We better learn to appreciate and respect and listen to what the blue people have to say. Amen. They may not have as much as power as the red people, but they are in some way very prophetic. If Jesus would choose one of the prophets here, he would very likely come from here. Yeah. They're very religious. They're very spiritual. And they're very intuitive. They see things way ahead. You know what I mean? So if there is no blue people in this world, life would continue to be meaningless, and we would continue to drive 100 miles an hour, and then without knowing where we're going. And these people always bother you, and they nag you, and they tell you stop. And you're like, I'm driving 100 miles an hour. And she goes, stop!
You will be in danger.
Yeah. And if you don't stop, they said, I'm going to kill myself. And the red people go, if you don't stop, I'm going to kill you. White person says, whatever you want. Yellow person, I don't know. We'll talk about it. They believe in their intuition, and they believe in their relational need, and they believe in that there is a spiritual vacuum in relationship and whatnot, and they believe in that so much, and so then they can be rather very, ready to hear this? Controlling. And they can be manipulative too. And if the other person doesn't listen to them, these people use power. They sanction, or they use all kinds of tactics. But these people give you guilt trip. Because they are perfectionists. Let's say we do potluck. Who do you think would bring the best dishes? Blue people. They bring the food that they don't even eat at home, like very expensive food. And they look at what red people bring. They're like, Jesus, you gotta come fast. Because red people, not you guys, but not born again red. And red people have a tendency to bring something that you can make it quick and easy and cheap. Because they're all into efficiency. But these people spend all night making food and then complaining on the way to church that they're tired. And then it drives the red husband and wife crazy, because he's like, yeah, I told you, go to Sam's or go to Costco and get something, No, you don't serve God's people with that kind of junk, with cheese and all that. Yeah. They make food. They even grow food. And then they bless the food. And they bring it to church. And then they compare their food with what the red person bring. And they get depressed.
Milkshake, I don't know.
And then they go home, and feeling like, man, life is very meaningless. And then they feel like, what's up with these people, these Christians, And then thinking about that, they lose sleep. Yeah. And one thing I appreciate about blue people is that they are very loyal. They stay with you till the end. If red person come up to me and said, I can't stand this anymore, then I don't take it serious. Because they do that all the time. But if blue person come up to me and said, you know what, Pastor, this is it. I can't take it any longer. It's just my heart. You see, Watch very careful. If you have a blue spouse, and if she starts saying things like, my heart is getting numbed. Watch out. You got to go counseling. You got to call me as soon as possible. Okay? Because once their heart start getting numb, then start getting detached. Because when they're made for intimacy, for them to detach themselves, it is like giving up on life. And then once their heart is hardened, it's like Noah's Ark. Not even angels cannot open the door. Only God can open. I'm telling you the truth. These people get along with everybody well as much as they can. But once they give up on somebody, it shows up on their face. Blue people, you know if these people like you or not, by the way they treat you. With blue people, well, with red. With blue people, they cannot lie.
Yeah, that's true.
They cannot hide or fake like white people or yellow people. Yeah. Yellow people can hide it really well. And white people, you don't know what they're thinking, so they're safe. They don't tell you the truth. A lot of times they give you silent treatment, and that's the message. But blue people, it shows up on their face. It shows up. If they don't feel comfortable with you, if they don't feel connected with you, it shows up. You see? And once they have issues with you, and once they build resentment, start getting resentful, that's an area you don't want to go. Once you start getting resentful and be angry and all that, they hold it for a long, long time. Red people let go of it easily. You know, as long as we make money and as long as we think we get things productive, then hey, okay, we'll work together. Okay, no problem. Yeah. But with blue people, nothing works that way. You have to have a proper channel of communication. You have to go through reconciliation. You see, for them, process is more important, while for the red, product is more important. Yeah. They just need to look good, but they just need to feel good, feel right about it. And I love blue people, even though it's really hard for us to live with them sometimes. But what we don't realize is that they're as much, and if not even more, it is harder for them to live with the rest of you because of their high standards. They're like, they're from morality department. They're from like, if you drive on a freeway, red person would have a radar detector, and then if it's fine, they go 80 miles, 90 miles. They go as long as the car allows you to go. No policemen around. They go like that. And then with blue people, if it is 65, they go 64. Yeah. White person, they don't tell you, so I don't know. And the yellow person, they get caught all the time. Just kidding. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So interesting. But for blue person living with the rest of you in terms of driving, it just drives them crazy. Because they want to be proper. They want you to be a gentleman. But you cut, it doesn't care. When it comes to driving, like you forgot the fact that you're a pastor or anything else. And you cut and you curse sometimes, And then it's just like embarrassed the blue person crazy. So can you be a gentleman? Can you be like, upright and decent? And so, blue people, they're driven by intimacy, driven by meaning, and driven by moral compass and purpose, and they are perfectionistic. And right now, they're not ready for us to talk about their issues. Because, we'll talk about that later. So let's thank blue people, because if they are appreciated, they can even go to the moon, they can even go to the star and catch the star for you. Bring it down. And so that the love language for them, love language for these people is to make them feel empowered, makes them feel that they are on a driving force and they are the one who lead and so forth. Even if, as it appears to be, you need to make that happen for these people. Otherwise, they lose meaning in life, But for blue people, they need to be appreciated. That's the word that you want to use. If you have a wife who is blue, more than gifts, more than anything else, more than doing the dishes, you may not even have to do the dishes. If you tell them, I really, really appreciate you, but it has to come from your heart. You can't fake it, like, I love you. No, it doesn't mean. They see through. They are like an X-rated machine. They see it through. They see your skeleton and everything inside of you. They have an amazing ability to discern. Yeah, if you're a woman and blue, and they're like a radio detector. And so you got to be genuine and real with them. But if you live with them, if they drive you crazy, and I want you to think that your attitude toward them has to change. And that you need to start appreciating what they bring to your marriage, even if it means hardship, suffering, and agony. Because you need it. You needed it to grow. Okay? So let's all say that to these people. And for them, heaven is a place. This is interesting. These people, for them, heaven is a place where everyone else listens to them. Everyone else doing the things that they told them to do. But heaven is a place for these people where everyone else do exactly the way they do. Because these people have a certain way of doing things, like even doing the dishes. Like they have the most efficient way to do dishes. When yellow person turn on the faucet and dancing and going around, like drive things crazy, the money going down the drain, you're crazy. and then red person come and just like shut it up, right?
Yeah, right.
But the blue person like cries, over those things. So let's appreciate them. Let's all say, we appreciate you. Okay, be genuine. Okay, it's not a laughing matter. Okay, everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay, we appreciate you. And then give them big hand. Look at how happy they look now. It's like Jesus is coming, or yeah.
Pastor, a lovely and kind words.
Kind words. You see? We appreciate you very much. We appreciate you. Yeah. You give us so much suffering, but we appreciate you. And then we're going to talk about our demerits and so on. And no one's perfect. Everyone needs each other. And you know what? We got to focus on each other's strength. You got to focus on your strength, number one. And I'm going to talk about why we need to do that. And then you got to focus on each other's strength. Okay? And Rick Warren has a wonderful thing to say about our personality. He said, follow after me. Remember the best. You remember? Remember the best. Follow. Remember the best.
Remember the best.
Forget the rest. Okay? Okay? There's no buts. I know you are a wonderful man, you're kind. But Remember the best, forget the rest. Okay, that's a very, very good slogan to remember. But these blue people have a tendency to not only remember the best, and they remember all the things that they've done to you. And they have a book of life, book of sin. And oftentimes book of sin is thicker than book of life. So I'm going to talk to you guys about your issues and talk to the red people about your issues. We all have issues. We all are broken. See? Okay, let's move on to white people.